Hello my loves, it's Monica, and today I'm so excited because I'm going to be making a video all about my spring reading plans, and I'm just so excited for all of my reading plans this spring. I thought instead of doing my normal sit down video, it'd be fun to bring you along vlog style as I actually put together all my plans for my reading this spring. So putting together my TBR, picking up the books that I need to pick up this spring, making requests from the library, things like that. Thought it'd be fun to bring you along in that process. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm in such a big reading mood lately, and I'm just hyped for all of the books right now this spring. I feel like the change of the season or the beginning of a new season always just makes me really excited for reading and everything, honestly, and especially spring, which is, in my opinion, the best season. Before I dive in though, I do want to give a big thank you to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. They've always been such an amazing partner and supporter of my channel, so I'm really excited to continue working with them. And I'm super excited because this month there are actually 7 books, so I'm very excited to share some of my favorites of those with you all. So Book of the Month is a popular and fast-growing online book service for readers, and their mission is to promote new and emerging authors while also helping readers discover books they love. And they do this by vetting hundreds of books each month in order to curate a selection of new and early release titles. Plus, they do have a fantastic skip policy, so if you do subscribe and there's a month where you're just not interested in any of the titles, you could skip and you won't be charged and do the next month instead. So this is the book that I'm most excited for this month. It's called The Cartographers by Pang Shepard, who is the author of the Book of M, which I haven't read, but I've heard amazing things about. And basically in this one, we follow Nell Young, who is the daughter of a famous cartographer, but they haven't spoken in ages because he fired her and ruined her reputation after she found this weird map, and he ends up being murdered, and it sort of sends her on this paper trail or hunt to figure out what's going on with this mysterious map. So my theory obviously is that he was protecting her by ruining her reputation in the cartography world, trying to get her out of it. And yeah, I'm so intrigued. And I also saw R.F. Kuang wrote a review for it and said, Pang Shepard does it again. For anyone who's into academic drama, map making, nerd sleuthing, and magic, this is for you. And all of those things are for me. I especially love maps. Put a map in a story or make a map a central part of a story, and yes, you have me sold. I love that. So I was really excited for this one. I also love that Book of the Month has basically the best price for new release hardcover fiction, and you could get your first book for just $9.99 with my code Monica as per usual. I will have a link down below where you can check out all of this month's picks, but thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. Now on to the reading planning. I should probably close that door so you can't just see the disaster in my closet. Obviously, I will be reading The Cartographers this spring. I just love a map book, so that is definitely at the top of my list. And then I do have some themed TBRs, or one themed TBR. So the read-a-thon is happening. I believe it's happening when this video is being uploaded, so if you aren't participating in the read-a-thon, you still have time. Plenty of time to join us. I did already post my TBR for that, so you guys can watch that video to find out what I'm reading for the read-a-thon, and I will also have a vlog up of the read-a-thon soon, so you can see what I get up to. So on top of that, I also run a book club with my friend Brianna called the Magical Girl Society, and we are going to be reading Amari and the Night Brothers for our March pick, which I'm so excited for because I've just had so many of you recommend this book to me, and so I'm excited. Every time I say that I love Nevermore and I want more books that are as amazing as Nevermore is, everyone recommends this one. And then for my Patreon book club for February and March, we are reading The Love Hypothesis, which is an adult romance. And I've heard very, very mixed things about this one. People seem to really, really love it or hate it. And I'm interested to see where I fall. I do know that this was originally a Raylo fanfiction, which honestly, I wasn't super keen to read this one until I found that out. And I don't even consider myself a big Raylo by any means, but I just find that interesting / amusing. So I was like, I gotta read the Raylo fanfic, you know? So yeah, these are basically my pre-planned reading plans. And then I have a couple books that have already started that I am really hoping to finish, especially in March, because I'm not really going to be able to read any physical books at least in the month of April because I'm not going to be in the country in April. More on that in another video. But yeah, I have 2 large books that I started. That's Beasts of a Little Land by Juhae Kim, and this is a Korean historical fiction novel. And then Cloud Cuckoo Land, which is by Anthony Doerr, and this one is like a metafiction multi-time period, very meta I guess how many times can you say meta book, and it's absolutely beautifully written, but I got kind of stuck in it, so I'm hoping to pick this one back up and finish both of these in March because I want to, and I think they'll be really good for me to read some bigger books. So as far as my current reading mood, I really want a good romance. And like, I know The Love Hypothesis is a romance, but I don't mean like a contemporary romance, and I don't even know, like, not even really a historical romance. I kind of just really want like something that reads like Jane Austen, for example. Should I just reread Austen? Maybe I've been in the mood potentially to like reread Persuasion or something. I don't know. Do you guys have recommendations? I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like romance is an amazing genre. Nothing against romance, but I kind of feel the same way about romance as I do about like thrillers, in that I just struggle. Like I struggle to find romances very romantic, and I struggle to find thrillers very thrilling, versus when I read other books that just have like a really good well-written romance in them, or another book that just has like a really good like puzzle of a plot. Like I just tend to find that to do what I always want those genres to do for me. This is, again, nothing against those genres. It's very much so a me thing. Like I loved The Song of Achilles, like just like the all-encompassing way in which that romance like consumed me, I loved so much, and I just like want something else like that, or like a Jane Austen book in the way that like it's just very slowly done, slowly built up, and then also like has some really good like social political commentary, you know? Like I need that. That's what I'm really looking for. Outside of that though, I do have a couple of more books that I do want to add to my TBR, so let's head over to the bookcase and pick those out. So first of all, I definitely need to add this to my spring TBR. This is the sequel to Raybearer. Look at how beautiful this cover is. It is one of the most beautiful books in the world, I swear. But yeah, this is a fantasy novel, and it is magical, beautiful, full of amazing relationships, and something that I highly recommend, or at least the first one. Who knows, maybe I'll hate the second one, but I truly doubt that. So adding that to my list. And then I mentioned wanting to maybe read a Jane Austen novel. So I have this stunning version of Persuasion that, it's so beautiful. Like with the boat in her mind, sometimes I look at this cover and want to cry because it's so perfect. So maybe I'll reread Persuasion this season. It's been a long time. And then over in this like pile over here, I have a couple of books that I want to read, so I will grab those really quick. I'm gonna be honest, that was really hard for me. Because as I was like looking through that pile on the floor, those are like my most recent book purchases. I was just like, oh, but I want to read that, but I want to read that, but I want to read that. I want to read everything. I'm like I mentioned, I'm very much in a reading mood right now, and the problem with that is I feel like then I get like frozen because I want to read everything, so then I read nothing. So that I need to avoid that. But yeah, I ended up deciding against reading Persuasion right now because I think I'm going to do maybe like a full Jane Austen like reread this summer. I feel like that would be fun. Let me know if anyone wants to do that with me. Maybe I'll make it a thing. But yeah, I decided to do that instead. But I did remember that I had recently purchased this manga called Emma, and this is not based off of the Emma book by Jane Austen, but it is a historical fiction romance. So I thought this might check some of those boxes that I was really looking for. So I want to read this. And then I picked out 3 smaller books. So first off, I have Susanna Clarke's Piranesi, which is just supposed to be super fantastical, whimsical, and it's set in this like labyrinth of a house with infinite rooms and seas that sweep into halls and up staircases with the tides. It's a hypnotic tale that you can devour in a day, which sounds great. And I always love a good book that I could just like read in one sitting, and just like become like enamored by, so I'm hoping that that is this. I also am realizing that that is an AARP quote, which is really funny. And then I have Agatha Christie's Crooked House. I mentioned a couple vlogs ago that I really wanted to. I want to be an Agatha Christie girl, you know, like I want to have read her stories. So I thought this was a good place to start. I watched quite a few if you Google on YouTube, or if you search on YouTube like Agatha Christie how to read, there are a few different videos from people talking about like which books are the best ones to start with, and this one sounded really interesting to me, and it was one of the ones that was recommended as a good beginner Agatha Christie novel. So I'm gonna start here. I recently hauled Moominland Midwinter, and I want to read this before it gets too warm out, because then I won't be in the mood for like a wintry book probably until like the summer when I'm just desperately wishing for snow. So I'm really excited to read this one. One of my favorite artists today just opened up their shop, and they sell a Sailor Moon Moomin like design, and I just bought that. I'm so excited. I'll link them down below in case you want to check them out, but yeah, I'm very excited for this one. It just seems very charming. Again, this is very much like a book that I think I will read in like a day. Out of the books that I own, these are the books that I am hoping to read this spring. And then what I will do is I'll go ahead and add these next to my bed so that I can just pick from these instead of being overwhelmed by my actual full library. So I'm gonna put these aside really quick. So then I do also have a few reading goals that I'm hoping to accomplish this spring, and let me know if you guys are interested. I have basically completely revamped how I'm keeping track of my reading, my library, all of that. Let me know if you're interested in like a full in-depth look at what that is like. It's just making me feel very organized and like excited to read. So let me know if you're interested in that. But I do have a few goals. So the first one is I want to film a vlog where I read every night before bed for a week. Honestly, I am more so wanting to film this for a vlog because I know if I do that, it'll make me committed to actually completing that read every night challenge in general. Like, I need a purpose to do something sometimes. I can't just do it for my own well-being, which is maybe a thing I should look into about myself, but you know, here we are. So yeah, I want to vlog that, and I'm excited. I feel like that'll be good for me. And generally, I just want to read a lot. That's literally one of my goals on here. Read a lot. Near to the end of last year, I got really back into reading, and then the beginning of the year hit, and I have kind of been struggling a lot with picking up books. Again, I do feel like what I've noticed with myself is that I go in waves with, honestly, with everything in my life, but definitely with reading, where some days I just like, there are like a couple months where I just cannot pick up a book at all, and then there are some months where I cannot put down books in general. So I want to be in that mode this spring. I want to be in the voracious reader mindset. So those are my two big goals, basically. And then as far as my to buy list, there's two that are at the top. The first one is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O, which just came out. I actually already have it on audio, but I do also want a physical copy because it's so beautiful. I do actually think one was sent to me, but we've been having issues with our packages being stolen, so I'm pretty sure it was stolen. RIP. So I do need to pick up a copy of that. And then V.E. Schwab's new book Gallant just came out, which I believe is like a dark academia book from her, and I'm so excited for that. It looks phenomenal. So those are the two that I definitely want to pick up, and I'm just going to do a little bit of research, see what books have been coming out, and just like add things to my to buy list, which is basically what I use to reference when I am at bookstores and things. Okay, so the list of books that I've created that I am hoping to purchase this spring are Where I Can Follow by Ashley Blooms, which is supposed to be like a very whimsical kind of fantasy novel. All My Rage by Sabatier, which I've been super excited for. And both of those are out, already. And then The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea and Gallant, which both of those I already mentioned. All of those are already out. Then I have Kai Kei, which is an Indian fantasy, and Book of Night by Holly Black, which is her first adult fiction novel. And then, yeah, those are the books. So March, April, May, June. Those are the books that I'm planning on purchasing. I'm hoping to not purchase more than that. We shall see. I'm trying to be a bit more purposeful about the books that I purchase, so we'll see if that works out. But I'm going to add those to my current system for organizing my books, so I have them in a place that I can access them easily. But those are my reading plans. I'm also trying to actually listen to the list that I made at the beginning of the year. I feel like sometimes I'll make like my most anticipated list and then I'll never refer to it again, and then it'll be the end of the year and I'll rewatch that video and I'm like, oh yeah, forgot about that book. And I don't want to do that this year. I want to try and put an actual effort into like reading the books that I was really excited about. So I went back and like rewatched that video to try and understand like which books I was hyped for and why. And I am now once again very excited for all those books. So yeah, I have big reading aspirations for this spring. Will I get to all of these books? Probably not. But I'm hoping to at least try all of them, see how I like all of them, and I will keep you all posted. Let me know what you think about this little format, the sort of like vlog TBR format. But yeah, I'd love to know from you all what books you're most excited to read this spring. Let me know in the comments down below. And once again, thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. They will be linked down below also. But yeah, thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!